And good morning from us. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. And welcome to the official launch of Women Plus Conduct on Broadway, the data visualization contest. I am delighted to be here with a large cast of characters who you will meet as we go along. But the first character I want you to meet is my friend, Sari Goetz, and you'll get to see her live in a moment. Music director, conductor, pianist, vocal coach, educator, currently the head of the musical theater department at Emerson College, and the person spearheading this initiative. And if you're curious about her bona fides within this area, here are her Broadway credits. This doesn't even include a lot of the other stuff that she has done with national tours and regional tours, but was played in the pit for Aladdin, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, Mamma Mia, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Beauty and the Beast, Starlight Express, and also conducted these two shows. And I'm not talking about conducting a production of Les Mis. I'm talking about conducting the production of Les Mis. So with that in mind, Sari, what inspired you to do this project? And can you even tell us a little bit about what the project is and what you hope to accomplish with it?
Absolutely. Thank you. Good morning or afternoon. So I, as Steve said, I'm a conductor and a pianist and a music director. Before I went into academia, I did about 30 years in Broadway pits. I've also always loved the history of musical theater, kind of a nerd around that. And I also am actually very driven by data myself, although I'm not a visualizer. But I believe data has the power to sort of change things, hopefully for the better. I had seen a timeline of, so this project is a timeline of female and non-binary conductors and music directors on Broadway. The first one, surprisingly, was in 1915. But as you can imagine, most of them are in the last 20 to 25 years. I had seen a timeline of female and non-binary composers on a website called Maestra, which is an organization that lifts up women who make music, women and non-binary artists who make music in musical theater. And I decided that a timeline for conductors and music directors was in order. So I started the research. And as I was doing the research, I realized that I needed to reach out to as many of these people as I possibly could to get some accuracy around their careers, because even my research online was, I could tell, proving only sort of half the information. So I did end up talking to around 70, 75 people who have done this. And I realized that I was uncovering a portion of history that really nobody knows about. And I got really excited by the compelling stories I was hearing. So that's basically why I did this, why I think the timeline is important. It's having an impact on my industry. I got some of these women together for a symposium in May, and we filmed it, and we put together a 10-minute teaser. We're hoping to make a 1-hour documentary on this topic. So there's a lot going on with the project, and I'm very excited about what the timeline can be.
Well, we don't have time to show all 10 minutes of the teaser, but we do have time to show maybe 4.5 minutes of the teaser. So with everybody's permission, let me kind of set the table for this whole initiative.
Hi, Sariva. I'm a fellow music director, and I attended yesterday's Conductors Timeline Symposium. I wanted to thank you for spearheading this event and for all the research behind it. I am now subbing on Broadway and hoping to get myself further into the room as you and the panelists were describing. I left your event feeling supported and inspired. Thank you for sharing your stories. Best, Whitney.
I'm Deborah Barsha. Although these days I dropped the Deborah and I'm just Barsha. I was the associate conductor of Jersey Boys.
I'm Sherry Rosen, and I am the music director, conductor at The Lion King.
I'm Meg Zerwulis-Bate. I am the music director at Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club on Broadway.
I'm Lily, and I am the music director and conductor at Hell's Kitchen.
Hi, I'm Julia Shady. I'm the music director and conductor, keys player at Six.
I am Kathy Starr. I was the music director for Romance many years ago, and Beauty and the Beast for about 14 years as the associate on that show.
I'm Vicki Carter. I was a music director and conductor of a Broadway show in 1978.
I'm a music director, I'm a conductor, I'm an educator. So when Maestra put up the timelines for women and non-binary Broadway composers and off-Broadway composers, I was like, that is great. Why don't we do this for conductors and music directors? So once I gathered all of my preliminary information, I figured the only way to make this accurate was to literally reach out to everyone on the timeline that is still alive. So I did, and connected with almost all of them. So we've been working, to finish the timeline, which went live today, by the way.
Of course, a lot of our music is set to a click track, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a point where the click track had failed. And my only connect to them at that point is my little microphone, my little MD microphone. And so I just right away go, we're gonna keep going, and I thought, oh, I'm dead meat. They're gonna fire me the second I walk off this stage. And the writers,
they were all like, good job!
Yes, the writers of the show were there. And that was that moment where I was like, I do know how to do this job. And I can, because if I can pull us through that crisis and keep the show going, maybe I'm doing all right.
The first time I ever saw a female conductor on Broadway was you.
Me?
I was there for just watching the show from I think from the sound booth, and you were conducting, and I remember just being mesmerized. Mesmerized. I was like, oh my god, it's a female conductor. And for me to think that, I'm like, oh, I could do that too.
I was in a recording booth with one of my male counterparts, and I was delivering notes a certain way. I was like, that sounded really beautiful. I'm wondering if maybe when we get to this part, we phrase that just a little. And then he's delivering notes and he's like, you were flat in measure such and such, so make sure you, and I was just like, I always feel like I have to do a little bit of soft
finessing,
sugarcoating. Yeah. But in that moment, I saw myself doing a thing that I didn't want to be
it's
doing.
Interesting. Leadership doesn't have to be loud, and it doesn't have to be, not that it always needs to be quiet either, but just I think that there's a real beauty in sort of leading as a human being first, and not as a I am in command of this room.
Yeah. I imagine this timeline is there going to be these big gaps with no women? What does that look like? I'm excited to see where we fit, but also I hope that it grows, that as the timeline sees that there's more dots in there, that it becomes more populated with us.
We all stand on the shoulders of the people before us, and I just think having this timeline is so beautiful, because then we can now be the shoulders.
Yes,
right. That the next generation can now reach out to. They're like, oh, these are people that we can talk to.
Art changes people, and history is the way of taking that art and letting us see where we've been and where we are now and all that it took to get here. And that can help us inform what the future will be.
Sorry, just trying to get this back again. And I'm not seeing our smiling faces here. Oh, there we are. So hopefully that got people kind of interested in what this is about and an opportunity to bring this stuff to life. Now, there is a timeline. I'm going to show that to you in a moment. And that plays into our joining forces with the amazing people behind Makeover Monday. And we've got 3 representatives here. Blake was the first one here. So Blake, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, to introduce your colleagues and tell us a little bit about what Makeover Monday is about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. And you snooze, you lose, Ojo and Matt. I beat you to the punch here. But I am one of 5 representatives. 3 of us are here today supporting the community project called Makeover Monday. And if you haven't heard of us, hopefully this will give you a little bit of an introduction to what our mission generally is. And that mission is as follows. So all around the internet and all throughout history, there are tons and tons of pieces of data visualization that are out there. And some of them are great. Very few, if any, are, I would say, perfect objectively. And that ties into the goal of Makeover Monday as a whole. The purpose of this project is to take a visualization that exists today and reimagine it to your standards. So how do you think you could best communicate the insights that you feel are the most important from the underlying data? And as we partner up with the Woman Plus Conduct on Broadway project, the goal that we'll have throughout the month of January is to promote this data set and help get our community tapped in to revisualize this timeline that we have provided today that Steve will show shortly. And yeah, we're looking forward to promoting this and getting as many people involved as possible. It doesn't have to be the best visualization, but if it's your interpretation of an insight that you find really impactful, we encourage you to go and visualize it yourself.
Yeah, and just you're doing that and sharing it with other people helps tell the story. Yes, there's a competition and there's going to be a website devoted to this, but you're doing that is a very good deed. Blake, thank you. Ojo, Matt, thanks for joining us today, and your 2 other partners in crime who couldn't be here, Harry and Chimdi. Thanks so much. And you know what? Why don't we take a look at the timeline just as it exists now, and kind of get a sense of some of the great stuff that's there and some of the stuff that maybe you want to try to showcase that isn't there quite yet. So let me see if I can get that quickly. So here's the timeline as it currently exists, and I can zoom in and zoom out on this. Let's see, move down a little bit, see if there's a little more.
We're not seeing it on the screen there, Steve. There we go.
There we go. I knew that. Here is the timeline as it currently exists, and I can zoom in and out. Sari, do you want to point out a couple of features about it, and I'll dig in a little bit?
Sure. So the boxes in blue are shows that are original productions, excuse me, and the boxes in orange are the shows that are revivals. So why don't you click on one of the shows, Steve, and we'll see what happens. So there's a pop-up that comes out for that show listing any woman or non-binary artist that has had a position as a conductor or music director on that show. And then if you click on a particular name, their particular history of shows on Broadway will come up. So you can see Sherry Rosen has done a fair amount. She's currently the music director at Lion King. So yeah, that's what we see there. And then,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you want to show the drop downs?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a drop down menu for both shows and people. So if you're searching for someone in particular, you can go in that way as well. And I think at the moment, most pop-ups, have a way to get back to something else.
Gotcha. So the one thing for me, there's some great work here, and it's fun to interact with it, but you can't tell how long a show ran. There are some shows that only ran for 20 minutes and some shows that ran for 20 years. And the length of this item is just enough to accommodate the title of the show. So you don't see Cats running forever. You don't see Phantom of the Opera running forever. So that may be something that you want to point out. In any case, so that's some thoughts on the timeline as it is now and why it's an ideal candidate for working with the fine folks at Makeover Monday. But there are other fine folks as well, including Emily and Sean, who run Data+Music. And Sean or Emily, I defer to let you figure out who. Can you tell us a little bit about Data+Music?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Sean Miller, Hipster Viz Ninja. I started and lead the Data+Music project, which is basically very, very similar to what Blake and the Makeover Monday team do, only we're very hyper focused on data related topics. So very similar idea. We present music data driven challenges and data sets, and then we help tell stories about music with music and data. So we're so excited to be a part of this project. When the team reached out and asked if we wanted to be a part of it, we immediately jumped on it. This is exactly, it fits right within the mantra of what we do here at Data+Music. So we're so excited. I already have, just from seeing the timeline, the last 30 seconds that Steve was doing it, I've already got like 3 ideas of what I want to create. So excited to jump in. Can't wait to get started, and I'll let Emily introduce herself as well.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily de Padua. I recently joined supporting the Data+Music team with Sean to help run the challenges at the end of 2025. So very excited to be here. I shared earlier with this group, fun fact, my undergrad is in flute performance. So this really feels like a beautiful merging of my 2 lives together. So very excited to have Data+Music involved. For anyone who participates in the data contest, for Maestra, we will count that as a February Data+Music submission. So you get a 2-for-1 deal. You get Data+Music creds and you get the Maestra cred as well. So, and Sean and I are happy to help out, especially as you're developing. If you need just like a quick, hey, does this look okay? What do you think? Just ping me or Sean, preferably on LinkedIn. We're on Blue Sky, wherever you can find us, get a hold of us and just ask us for feedback. And we're happy to provide that as we make it to the February 1 deadline for the contest.
Outstanding. I'm seeing some comments coming in, including this one. Does the data set include how long the Women 9 was employed at the show? Boy, that's something I wanted to know when I first looked at the data. So give me a sec with that, and let's get to, well, how can you participate in this? And this is where you should go, bigpic.me/Broadway. Don't worry, I'll be promoting this. Serena, Kevin will be promoting this. Lisa Trescott couldn't be here today. Makeover Monday ends. The Data+Music ins will be promoting this. You will find it. And let me show you what this looks like. So when you go to that URL, you will see a description of the contest, the competition, the intended audience, the judging criteria, the timeline for the timeline. We're giving you until February 1st to submit something. Hope that's enough time. And here is where you can access the data. And here we have what I think is a well-vetted, well-put-together data set. Thank you very much, Serena, Kevin, and Lisa, for assisting me with this. And I'll let you explore this wonderful stuff. By the way, it's only like 350 rows. We have a data dictionary that explains what each of these things are. And you're going to see these women and non-binary participants having different roles. And if you're wondering, well, what does a music supervisor do, a music director, a conductor, an associate conductor, et cetera, because I didn't know, and this is my field, it was very helpful to have these things as well. So with that, I do want to have a very special thank you to Serena, Kevin, and Lisa. This would not be nearly as well-formed had the 3 of them not volunteered their time to help me with this. This is something that we do with Chart Chat, which is we'll do the presentation. And afterwards, if you want to join a Zoom meeting and ask questions or voice your own opinions, you're welcome to do so. if you want to know what it's like to play in the pit of um, Mamma Mia or Sweeney Todd, or what it's like to conduct a Broadway show, you can ask Sari, what it's like. If you have questions about the data and the competition, you can ask me and the other people that are here. So it's bigpic.me/after. Hold on. There we go. That will stay there for a little while. And let's go back to seeing everybody's smiling faces. Anything I left out? Any other remarks? Any other thoughts that you think we should share at this point?
I don't know how much time we have left, Steve, but I thought it would be really interesting and powerful for maybe Sari to take a minute or two and explain what are some of the insights that she is hoping to get from this. Like, even if it's just my hypothesis is that, women and non-binary, individuals are underrepresented in the music industry. Just in her own words, like, what are some of the little nuggets that you're hoping to find in this data, whether it exists in the current format or something that you're hoping to get from a future version of it?
Absolutely. A number of things. And I'm excited to say that it's already starting to happen. I was hoping that this data put together this way would inspire people coming up in my field to pursue their dream and to empower themselves to feel like they can be leaders in the field of musical theater. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I'm hoping that those who are in a position to hire more women and non-binary artists will see this, will see the growth that has been made in the industry, but also the growth that needs to be made in the industry. And also this will serve as almost a directory for people that are doing it, right? Because the timeline includes not only people who have a lot of experience, music supervisors, music directors who've done dozens of shows, but also people coming up as substitute conductors, which is how often you kind of get into the industry. And the other thing is, I was hoping that it would allow emerging artists to identify mentors in the industry, because there's so little training for what we do that mentorship is a really crucial part of how we make it in our field. And then the last thing is to just give the general Broadway audience, which I think has really grown in the past 10, 20 years. Broadway's not so much of a nerdy thing as it used to be, but everybody's interested in Broadway. And I think a lot of people clamor to look at the backstage, how it's put together. And so that's also part of this project for me, not only with the timeline, but hopefully with we're also shooting some oral histories this spring. So we're trying to get a lot of stuff archived on film as well.
Right. Thank you so much. And again, here's where you can participate. It's bigpic.me Broadway. That's where you can see about the contest. And there is a $500 prize for the one that's selected. But again, you're just looking at the data, visualizing it, sharing that will help get the word out. All right. Thank you so much. I do not have outro music for this, so I'm going to end the stream. And I hope to see a whole bunch of you at bigpic.me after. If not, just Sari and I we'll talk. So thank you all so much, and really looking forward to seeing what the community comes up with. Thank you all.